Fashion Illustrator is not a fashion designer. Let's just start with that one. We're getting straight into it. If you want to make a career from something, it's always a good step to understand what the role actually is. So whenever I tell someone I'm a fashion illustrator, they get all excited, ask, oh, have I seen anything on the runway that you've designed? Who do you work for? Then their excitement fades when I tell them I don't actually design. And they just look at me like, well, what do you do then? So safe to say it's not the most immediately understood job, and the amount of people I've disappointed because I've not designed that Chanel look they love, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. So if we're not designing, why are we false advertising? Like if a fashion illustrator doesn't design, what do they actually do? So let's get into it. First of all, why is a fashion illustrator, or how is a fashion illustrator different to any other illustrator? So if you gave a bunch of illustrators the same reference picture of, I don't know, three people applying some makeup in a bathroom, a children's book illustrator would focus on the colors and the narrative in the illustration, how to tell a story, who are the people, why are they applying the makeup, are they making a mess while doing it, are they precise, where are they going, what does the bathroom look like? All of that trying to visually depict a narrative. Whilst a product illustrator would focus on capturing the makeup products and bottles as accurately as possible. So with everything else being secondary, making sure the products are clearly depicted and shown, so nothing covers them, and the situation comes in secondary. The caricaturist would focus on the people in the reference picture, so exaggerating their facial features and portraying the scene in a funny way. And if a fashion illustrator were to draw it, the focus of the illustration would be the clothes first, so making sure the garments get the attention and are the attention. The poses are showing off particular design elements like pattern on it or the collar or, something like that. And everything else in that illustration is secondary. So most illustrators would have a kind of focus list hierarchy when tackling something, and ours is clothes first. Fashion illustrators get hired because the client wants to focus on the clothes. So obviously fashion brands would want an illustrator to depict the clothes accurately, as a black dress isn't just any old black dress. A fashion illustrator is poised to spot and notice differences and subtleties, things in the garment that another illustrator just might not pay attention to. So any client wanting the clothes to be the focus of an illustration would opt for a fashion illustrator, because even if there's background, narrative, loads of people, anything, they know that the clothes will still be the focus, regardless of how much else is going on in the illustration. So the second reason is style. So fashion illustrators overall tend to have a more elegant drawing style. It tends to look quite clean and modern, not always, but in general. So if a client wants something to be seen in a more elegant or classy way, or even more modern and cool, fashion always seems to be considered cool. So if people want their product or something depicted in a way that gives it, a little street cred, it's not anymore after I said that. Fashion illustrators tend to capture something in that way. So clients might want to be seen in that light, say, a new restaurant opening, get a fashion illustrator to draw the location with a bunch of fashionable people. Give the place more immediate character and pizzazz. So what are fashion illustrators actually used for? The most popular thing at the moment is live event illustration. So you go into a store or do an event, do quick 10-minute portraits of the guests. We can get commissioned to illustrate editorial pieces with a fashion focus, pieces for magazines, coffee table books. Like I said, the fashion refers to style more so than a focus sometimes. So you can get hired to draw fragrances, food, drinks, accessories, bags, shoes, interiors, exteriors, and that means all editorial and publication work is on the table, literally. Despite what I said in the intro, we can sometimes be used to help designers help depict their designs. So if a fashion designer puts together a mood board or some concept sketches, we can be hired to help flesh out that design or neaten it up so it's more understandable. Doesn't mean we strictly designed it, so put the pitchforks down. Who are the clients and who hires a fashion illustrator? So apart from the obvious, which is fashion brands, PR companies, event planners, art directors and stuff, it's not limited solely to the fashion industry. Like I said, if a brands like hotels, restaurants, travel companies, anything wants something a little bit more elegant or stylish, they can opt to use a fashion illustrator. It's usually if a brand wants to be associated or seen from a more luxurious perspective. Basically, fashion illustrators can be hired by anyone. It's just a case of the client style, wants, as opposed to having a focus on the fashion. Because we fashion illustrators, we can tackle any subject. It just usually means people will be in high heels and Chanel sunglasses. But this video is just a general quick breakdown of what a fashion illustrator actually is, which, say it with me, we're not designers. So this is video 1 of 3. which I'm releasing in the lead up to my career course openings, and it's opening 28th of February. So video number 2 is tips for freelancers as illustrators, and it goes live Saturday, and I'll see you then.